all things fair in tech and love and war, the Campus Tech Connection said, hey, we should try a Google Plus Hangout sometime. And why not now? Because it's Monday. We are supposed to be live broadcasting, and Jeff and I said, hey, we haven't talked in a long time, / talked about any tech news or updates. So here we are. I like that your little header says Jeff Jackson, so that's great.
Did you like that?
I did.
There are some cool plugins you can do for Google Plus specifically, but here, this is one that I downloaded a plugin for, but never actually used it until now. So I have a bottom third. I feel official. But what you don't know is I've always had a bottom third. I just held it up on the audio ones.
Got it.
But no one could see it because it was audio.
So this is us beta testing for the Campus Tech Connection because there's talks of us possibly moving to a video format. Apparently we gave Bruce the day off because did you hear the last show, Jeff, that you and I skipped out on?
Yes, you did do that. And also because we didn't know we were doing this until about an hour ago.
Yeah, this is true.
Yeah.
No, it's last year isn't.
Hey, we haven't done this in a long time. Let's hang out. Laura's been traveling the world, and that's the other cool things that she learned while she was traveling. So here we are.
Yeah, and I also think we haven't just done a good, proper update show in a little while. There's not too much happening in the tech realm, but there's enough worthy enough that we could chat for, even if it's us trying out the Google on-air Hangout feature. So right now it's embedded in our Break Drink live room that we didn't use for quite some time, but it's there now. And anyone who wants to tweet or watch or join in can do so using the CTCX hashtag, and that's also at the bottom of the page. We haven't used it in a long time because that's where that Meebo room was before Meebo was killed off late last fall.
Poor little Meebo.
Yeah, poor little Meebo. So
let's talk about this experience really fast.
Okay.
We've never used. I mean, let me go back. You and I have used Google Plus and Hangouts quite a bit. This is our first time to use on air. If you've never used it before, you have to have. Okay, let me tell you what I don't like about it first.
No, just talk about the requirements. Not everyone has on air, correct? We
have a Break Drink page, right? Because you can set up pages. I cannot connect the Break Drink the Break Drink YouTube account to the Break Drink page. So we couldn't do a Hangout as a page. So we're doing a Hangout as Jeff and Laura, which is going on air. And then when you select on air, you have to have a YouTube account connected to your Google Plus account, which I did not. I have old Gmail accounts and an old YouTube account, which I've used. I've never had a YouTube account with this email address. So I had to set that up. You have to go in and do the thing that allows you longer than 15-minute uploads. Like you put your phone number in, they text you, and I don't fully get the point of that, but they do that. So you have to kind of set all of that up. I had to create another username, and so I think I'm on there as I forget. It's either Jeff Break Drink or Break Drink Jeff. I don't know. It'll come up later. It may even say on the live page. So I had to create a quick username. Break Drink Jeff is what it is. A quick username on there. The setup is not hard. I mean, it's well worth it considering the fact we can do this and record it. I wish, though, I could set it up as a page, and we could have, so, you know, if they want to do the CU80 podcast or any other podcast they do, they could all filter and feed into the same channel, whether they have our personal channels, but you have to reshare it at a later time.
Yeah, and I'm just double checking so you see me looking to another screen awkwardly. Not because I'm not paying attention to Jeff, but I am checking the breakdrink.com/live page. You do want to go to it, click the play button, and you'll see us live and interactive. And then we've had the embedded CTCX at the bottom where you can hashtag, comment, let us know. And I think it was good for us to start this as a beta test with out any guests because there are some learning curves, and it will be a challenge if we're bringing anyone else outside of the two of us and Bruce along. But it's good that we are testing a couple things, and you are running an audio recording in the background, correct, Jeff?
Yes, and I hope it's working. This particular computer has been re-imaged recently, so I had to go and download Audacity again.
Right.
And, I've only used Audacity to record or over-record some things. I've never used it to record, like, a conversation coming in from multiple channels on a multiple computer. So I hope I did the setups right. If not, we may have a video-only version of this. We may try to rip out the audio at a later time. But Audacity is actually a free tool. If you've never used, it's a great audio recording tool that I really recommend checking out. It has a lot of high-end editing stuff if you need that, but if not, it's still very simple to use on that.
Yeah, and I think it was good for us to try it, and I'll tweet out the link, which is more awkward when you see us in video trying to tweet and record.
Now they can see when you're not paying attention.
But I am paying attention. So, what is new and happening in tech and news?
It's been it's been kind of a quiet couple weeks, but 1 week because I'm in charge of both commencement and orientation. And so 1 week we had an orientation, and at the end of that week we had 5 commencement ceremonies. That week, everything new could have come out, and I would have known it. Like, I was so just focused on that. But I think it's been a quiet couple of weeks in technology as far as major things coming out. I will say that one of the cool things, we've talked a lot about the Chromebook, and there has been, in the tech world, mixed feelings about the Chromebook.
Mm-hmm.
They had a pretty major update.
Well, the first one is the Chromebook, though, which everyone thought would die out after Samsung and Acer had their first unveilings. I'm actually hanging out on my Chromebook, and my MacBook is over here as my back channeling piece.
Oh, so you're using the Chromebook right now?
I am.
Very
I'm
nice.
using the original.
Can I say that now that I'm on video, this is a red Solo cup. There's tea inside of it, I promise. I just wanted to make that clear.
I'm in my
an event we had.
Yeah, we're not sponsoring anything. No, I'm in my home office today. I'm doing a little work from home so I can do some creative web design and course design work for my fall class. And I have an awesome boss who's letting me work from home. So I have my Chromebook where I'm hanging out and my MacBook beside me. So I think it's really great, the updates and features for the new Chrome operating system. There's some really neat and smart tricks and tabs that are going on the front page, as well as where I access my GChat IM to. I think it's nicely cleaned up, and it seems to be a bit quicker as well as most updates are.
And it looks like what we're used to is a computer. Like, it has a desktop now. I mean, the Chromebooks originally, it was the browser. It looks like there's a desktop and the applications. I mean. Mm-hmm. It's almost like an optical illusion is what I heard someone describe it as, because it's still, the desktop icons are still like bookmarks icons to applications. They're still web-based applications. But still, it's pretty significant development, I think, for Chromebooks.
Yeah, and it's neat because they've got tabs at the bottom where I can see I have pages open, and they've moved everything that was at the top. The time, battery life, Wi-Fi is all moved towards the bottom. It does look kind of floaty. My background is Red Bridge, and I haven't played with it a whole lot. The update happened when I was traveling last week, and I was going to use my Chromebook actually as a full-on presenting tool when the people I was presenting for actually said, hey, we already have the audio set up if you just want to plug your zip key in. So I didn't present with my Chromebook yet, but I was ready to move my session into obviously it's not a desk platform, move it into Google presentations in Google Docs. Got a bit of a cold there, Jeff. It's too cold for you today?
No, I gotta say though, it's June 4th and like 80 degrees right now. It's amazing. and maybe 90. I don't know, but in my head it's still 80. No, it's out. So, yeah, so I think that's a pretty significant update. The price point's still like around 500 though. So I almost feel it's like a bit too high, because when you get to 500, you're in iPad territory. You're in cheap PC territory. Like you could actually buy a notebook, full-on notebook for around $500.
Right.
We have one that we paid $500 for over 2 years ago, and I feel like we have a year left in it. Like it's starting to kind of show signs of so when you get those, you're getting a cheap computer, and so it's weird. The price point is a weird price point for me. What are your thoughts about that?
When I bought mine, like you had the option of going Wi-Fi or 3G, and I opted for 3G just in case. Although Wi-Fi is all pretty much what I use, and you could get one for, I think it was 500 was the cap, but you could get one for $359 or $399. They had a little bit of a sale at one point, so you'll probably see it drop again.
So 500, you still have is like 100 megs of, or 100. What was the 3G you got with that?
The 3G I have was you get 100 megabytes free per month for the first 2 years.
That's pretty significant.
Yeah, it wasn't bad, and I haven't used it a whole lot. It would just be in certain locations where you can't access Wi-Fi. And I'll be honest, compared to back home in Canada, you have a lot of Wi-Fi everywhere for free in the U.S. So it's rare unless you're in remote locations, but that's also questionable. Would your 3G be picked up as well? 3G on my Samsung is supported by Verizon, and it's been decent if I need it in a pinch, but realistically, I haven't. So, because you can work with offline Google Docs and email and other things like that too.
I have thought about it because they had an education plan, like you spent $20 a month for 3 years or something like that, and you're basically leasing them. And when they count on new ones, I think you actually got a new computer. I've thought about it because we don't have. I mean, our campus still has a lot of really old laptops you can check out to use, and nothing's updated when you have it. Our office has one MacBook Pro that we use for that. I've thought about would it be a good mobile computer for staff if they go to meetings, if they do stuff around campus, because they're always in Wi-Fi access areas. Would it be something to build our technology budget for that reason? I don't know yet if that's something we're going to do, but it's nice to see that option out there.
Yeah, and I think at the end of the day, some spaces still need more of a keyboard or do want more of a laptop. It depends, and obviously you have the iPad that can easily have a portable keyboard with it. It's to each's preference. I have friends from my old advising office that ever in the College of Business got an iPad, and it varies on how they're using it. Most of them haven't been using it as well as they could because it's just been an extra screen for when I'm listening to podcasts to some don't even bother using it. So it's sure it's a personal preference, but it's also how you kind of want to build that culture of use into. So whether it's the netbooks you want to get or an iPad, what's your bigger purpose of having that tool?
Yeah. So Facebook had their IPO.
Mm-hmm.
Is this what we're talking about?
Yeah, I guess so. I wasn't as interested, but let's talk about it.
So Facebook had an IPO, which was, I don't know, $40-ish, whereas the price started at $38, something like that. Mm-hmm. Opening day, it dropped and went up and leveled off, and then I think it's steadily been dropping since then. And I'm not an investor. Like I don't know a whole lot to say about this. I'm not an investor. I will say it's weird that people are looking at this IPO so short term. Like it failed, therefore it's a failure. Sure. When any investment should be looked at in a long term. And they're also looking at Facebook like, well, how are they going to make money? And which is so weird because a year ago people were salivating over this IPO. They couldn't wait for it to happen. You know, how important they are. I think Facebook is a really important company right now.
Mm-hmm.
And I think if the IPO got cheap enough, I would consider buying some. I kind of want to buy like a share, just to say I have a share, not to actually get rich off of it, but just to say I bought it. But
Mm-hmm.
what are your thoughts?
I have a little less, but I know that it's bigger in the investor world. There's a couple different articles that are out there on like 9 things you should know about Facebook's IPO. I'll share with other subscribers to CTCX, but other than that, some of them actually talk about the capitalism corruption to what does it mean for other companies that might be going public that way. I don't have a personal opinion because I'm not, like you said, I'm not investing in it, but I do think it's going to bring some other implications for other companies who aren't public, who decide to go public, and what it means for their public offerings. Well, I think there'll be a bubble that will need to burst at some point. I don't know when that'll be.
Yeah, you know what's interesting though, when they talk about the bubble bursting in technology, it's always been around all of the startups, right? The people who don't ever go to IPO. It's they raise a crazy amount of money, and they may or may not make it there. There's not a lot. I mean, like Google's there, and Apple, like Amazon, the big ones. Zynga, the makers of the people who make your Facebook unusable, Farmville, those kinds of things. They're there. They had an IPO. Pandora recently, LinkedIn had one recently. But that's kind of it. Like, right, so Twitter's not there. A lot of the other technologies that we use aren't. Like, I don't think Dropbox is close to it. You know, like those places aren't there, and a lot cheaper stock price. So they're probably Facebook's probably overpriced to start with, but once it gets to a good price, I think it'll probably be a good deal. But the interesting thing is, like Google, once you have an IPO, you have to continue to be making more money. Whereas that's how Google got out of the search business, into Gmail, into Maps, into social networking, into self-driving cars. You have to keep doing more things. That's when those scopes start to get way wide.
Right, and I think that's where some of this is from the New Mexico Daily. It has a good article on capitalism and corruption. So things you need to do to maintain your status as a public offering. I don't know what will happen. I don't know if that will change from them being public. But I know that people are really tracking on their scorecard, especially those who have been investing and noticed that things are dropping. So what they said, it was at 38 million a pop. Is that what it is?
Something, yeah. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Zuckerberg still made a crazy amount of money, regardless whether the stock is up or down.
Right.
And Zuck, congratulations. I know you're going to watch this later. He got married.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah.
We were joking around about him being single, and then the next weekend he goes off and gets married. So.
To his longtime girlfriend who just finished medical school.
And this is the first time he wasn't wearing a hoodie.
That was kind of the weirdest thing, right? He was wearing a tux.
One of the designers said they would design this one with a hoodie on the back of his tux. But. There was a big trial between Google and Oracle called the Goracle trial, which basically says that Google didn't violate whatever. It would have been more news if Google was found guilty, but since they're not, that's fine. Is there anything significant though? Anything else news-wise? No, I don't know if you had heard beyond big news into more of our student affairs side of tech and learning. If you heard anything about things going on there. I was going to give a shout out to some of the ladies, the women, student affairs Women Talk Tech group. About what they're doing.
I did not.
So I was asked to do it. I'm sure many people were asked, but some ladies were asked to put out a quick video clip. This was from Jess Falk and Valerie, and a few others were doing a presentation at one of the housing officers conference. So they asked us to answer, there's about 6 or 7 questions that they put out there and asked us to respond. And if you want to demo a video in our beta testing phase, I responded to 3 of them. One of them was like, how did you get started in technology? Who supports you as a woman in tech? Are there barriers? I think I answered just a couple ones about why I got involved and things like that. But they ended up...
You respond via video, is that what you're saying?
Yes. So the goal was to respond via video. And in that, you would talk about the answer to that. The goal is to give a under 1 minute response to the question. So I could show you this in our beta testing phase of Hangout. One of my videos, so it's a good one, it's short. What are ways that you explore technology? Let's see.
So are you going to the YouTube?
Yeah, I'm going to see if I can get that. If not, I'll have you help me out. So yeah, one of them was, I'll go to YouTube, and I'll see if I can pull up the video. But it's really cool because they are collecting a bunch of them, and they're going to use them in an upcoming presentation for barriers for women in tech. And let's see if I can go into YouTube. Loading. I was going to show you a sandbox version of a really cool space that I was in. I didn't get that uploaded in time, so let's see if I can play this for the Women Tech session. All right, I've heard enough talking about myself. Yeah, so I just want to see if we could show a video clip on there. Now we can go back to showing like lulz cats and other things.
That is pretty cool.
I'll tweet out the link from Jess Falk. She did put a post on the SA Women Talk Tech, so shout out for them to reaching out to the community, and I thought it was a really neat initiative that hopefully will be shown and shared in their session that they're presenting. So let's see. Now, what else is happening is there anything else happening in the SA Tech realm?
You know, I gotta say, I have not been crazy active on the Twitter the last couple of weeks because of orientation and such. So if so, I don't know. If people out there want to let us know, they can let us know. But I have the feeling people were just trying to wind down and close their residence halls and all that kind of stuff this past month. But you know, hopefully, you know, summer is kind of when people get cranked up again on stuff, and I think even SA Chat gets a little bit hotter in the summer because more people will have free time. I think I haven't participated in a full chat since last summer because I'm just never around during that time. So.
Have you participated in the new Tech Chat? The SA
no, I didn't. I haven't been able to do that either. When is that, by the way?
So the actual Student Affairs and Technology, and I don't know if this has been talked about on our show. We might have said it started up, but they've been talking for the last 2 weeks about, it's the hashtag SA Tech. So Student Affairs and Technology friends have been chatting on Wednesday afternoons, and they've been talking a series. So last week they talked about IT. Are they gatekeepers or visionaries on our campus? Was last week's chat. So that I thought that was really neat. So it's a subsidiary or a branch off from this SA Chat group. So I thought that might be something you might be interested in too, Jeff, to chat with.
And that would be very cool. And are they doing the kind of Twitter hashtag stuff? Are they using Google Plus or?
Exactly.
No. So it's kind of the typical chat kind of stuff. That would be cool to attend. It'd be kind of cool if we had almost concurrent chats going on. It'd be kind of great to have a conversation.
Mm-hmm.
Like we can have these talks, but then keep the normal chat back channel. But those who can have an actual verbal talk, do that as well. I mean, that'd be kind of cool to do.
Yeah, because they are doing another, and Jennifer Keegan, thanks for tweeting that out. Another NASPA Tech is in the plans for this fall. They're going to have another day for technology and student affairs hosted by NASPA going on this fall. Because I know you went to the one last year, and you were able to get out to, was it in Rhode Island?
It was in Newport, Rhode Island, yes. I think this year is in Indianapolis.
Yes.
And
so,
it is a place on my calendar where I can't make it, unfortunately. I've already checked the dates. Yes.
Have you?
Yes. It's either I think maybe the 24th, 25th weekend, or
okay.
it's maybe the 31st going into November. I have class that weekend, so I can't make it.
Oh, yes, because you're a weekend road warrior for that.
Yes. But speaking of class, I am, as much as I like to talk about technology, I'm not a gadget person because gadgets are expensive, right? And we're in education, so we can't fully do that. But I did finally purchase a Kindle because books on Kindle are cheaper than books. So, and my friend Laura Sweeney says that she prefers reading the books to Kindle. And also, you can I can put all my PDFs there for journal articles. I can have it in one place. The new Kindle actually reads to you, which is kind of nice. I don't know how annoying.
Well, that's really why you got it. That's your truth is coming.
Yeah, I don't want to actually read anything. Now, if they could only write for me, would be really awesome. But I went ahead and purchased it. My first class, I have 2 classes starting in July. Because they're short classes, because my school is 2 hours from here, so we meet 2 weeks in the summer, 1 week in a month. Except for October, 2 weekends that month. We have a lot of pre-work for our summer courses, pre-reading for summer courses. And so I went ahead and purchased it so I can start that this week.
And so this is you're with the Kindle Fire. And
No, I got the old school Kindle.
oh, did you? Oh,
Yes.
okay.
The $99, whatever that's called, Kindle, whatever. No, I don't know.
It's basic black and whites and all that.
Yeah, yeah. You know, I thought about, because the Kindle Fire, it seems to be a pretty cool device, right? And it's like a poor man's iPad, maybe. Like it's not as fancy as an iPad, but it has all the same applications, all the same functionality of what an iPad would be. It's smaller, easier to carry around.
Right.
I'm actually considering getting rid of my smartphone and getting rid of my data plan and getting rid of my wife's data plan to get like the regular phones. You know, you could open them up and make a phone. They just make phone calls.
What?
That kind of phone.
Yeah.
And then purchasing like Kindle Fires and saving significant money in data plan. I think we pay close to $200 a month in our phone bill. And so if we could, invest in that one kind of time tablet, we could save a lot annually.
That's funny. One of my friends, actually, I think I shared his post last Friday. He's Evmid, and he actually put on like being dumbing down my phone and the dissonance between your phone and what it is. And I'll share it again because there's a pretty good blog post around what it means to have a phone versus what do you actually need anymore. So I think it's okay for you to be smarter than your phone, Jeff. So good job. Good on you.
And Jennifer Keegan pointed out, and actually this is probably why my wife could not do that, is that phones actually take pretty great photos right now. And really the only reason we have a phone, the ability to post photos and put into Facebook, is because we have children. And it's really the only reason I'm on Facebook, honestly. And so that, Keegan, you are right. That would be hard to give up. And I don't want to be the person like with the tablet taking a photograph. That's
Which I saw when I was on top of Blackcomb in Whistler. Literally, one guy was posing out in front of the mountains, and out came an iPad tablet. And I wish, I don't know why I didn't bring my phone out. I was just so like in shock. I was like, no, people don't really do that. But I should have got a picture of him taking a photo for a future presentation.
You know, I thought there used to be a Tumblr blog with that. I couldn't find it, but there used to be photos of people taking photos with iPads.
I think there is.
Yeah, because it's a great. It looks like now I have a coworker who does it and who did it during commencement just because we didn't have a camera and we were posting live updates on our Facebook page, and so I made fun of her a little bit. But honestly, it was a great use of it at that time because she was doing live posts to our Facebook page from all over our commencement venue.
Well, and it is hard because I do find, like, when I'm at conferences, because I do take some notes. I take notes sometimes. People are like, well, why are you tweeting? I was like, well, if there's a hashtag, I'll tweet the hashtag, collect them with Storify or something else. But yeah, if there's a slide or an image or something going on that I can't type really quickly, I'll snap a photo. So I have my Chromebook here, snap my photo with my camera, and so it looks kind of funny, but it just depends on how you take notes, I guess. And so I suppose if you had your iPad and you're just typing on it, you lift it up, that could make sense, but...
Yeah. Liz Gross actually confessed on Twitter that she took a photo with the iPad, but that's what she was doing. She wanted to take a photo of a slide, and it was just the easiest thing to do.
Yes. So I can understand that, but we'll just mock the ones that are literally out there in the wilderness, snowboarding and skiing and taking photos with your iPad. Why do you even have your iPad at the top of the mountain? That's what kills me.
Yeah, like you're packing your hiking gear. Oh, don't forget iPad.
Hold on, what do you pack for your ski trip? I've got in my bag my iPad.
I'm going to check Flipboard and all up there. Hey, did you post on Twitter or Facebook recently the things you'd be addicted to?
Oh, no, I shared that with you this morning. So what do you mean, like how people are addicted to social media?
Yeah, it could be social media, gaming.
Yeah, that's what I said. Do you know, Mashable put in an article just the other day, do you suffer from these 4 tech afflictions? Why? Are you claiming ownership to one? Do you want to talk about one of those?
No, I think I'm pretty, when there are times that I'm definitely plugged into everything happening and kind of obsessed about it, right?
Right.
Like, I want to know if there's an event happening. I want to know, updates on the events. I'm tracking, as we were doing, Facebook posts or commencement, I'm tracking the kind of analytics and hits on what's happening on that. There are times I say I'm plugged in. It could be an addiction at that time. When the weekend comes around, I'm off. Right. I make few posts. I read few comments. I don't even pay attention to what news breaks on the weekend, unless it's major news that gets in front of us, because we don't turn on the TV that often. And if we do, it's to watch a game or something like that. So, I guess there are maybe seasons where I feel like I'm kind of in that addiction mode, and there's times that I just can't stand technology and want to get unplugged from it.
Yeah, it depends for me. So you asked me about news and stuff, and I was like, I know some of it because I was tracking on it while traveling, but I actually tuned out some news stuff and was doing a lot of reading. I covered 4 or 5 books I read last week, just based on being on a plane a lot. Of just books I've been meaning to read and put on my wish list. So I don't know if you saw the New York Times and GradHacker put out the summer reading list, the hashtag summer reading. They're trying to encourage people to share what's on the reading list, Be Social as another campaign. So I don't know if you saw that, but I know you commented on my blog post that you're reading the APA 6th edition.
Is that right here? And to Laura's advice, Spiral Bound. it'll lay flat. I also got the cheating book, the APA the Easy Way, which I've heard good things about. But when you have to like, and they don't make this for the Kindle, which is funny. My first two purchases, Kindle and then a book, which is not Kindle compatible.
Okay, so I have a Kindle too, but I did buy some real books for different reasons. Since we're doing show and tell, I read this really good book. Some of these books I'll be reading for book reviewing. This is The New Social Learning. It's a year or so old, really good around social learning trends. I read fully Tanya Justin's book that we talked about, which I did buy, because I started tabbing them more. Other books I read. This is my Rethinking Education in the New Age of Learning. This was okay. This is more history on history of school in America. And this book I really liked. This is A New Culture of Learning, Douglas Thomas and John Seely Brown. So a couple of these books I'm writing book reviews for journals, but a couple of them I'll start posting about. I read the fun books first, and then putting off my research design book, you know, things for like your APA guide.
Yeah.
That. So.
Well, APA has actually changed twice since I finished my master's degree. So, and they didn't have citations for online references when I was doing that also. So, I'm pretty sure I have some catching up to do.
Were you typing on a typewriter, Jeff?
It was a word processor, and actually the 5th edition came out my last semester of graduate school, which was maybe 02. I don't remember when I graduated. Wait, my diploma's right here. 02. Fall of 02, my last semester. That was helpful. And so the new one came out, and everything was different. Huge differences between 4 and 5. And so, fortunately, I didn't have to learn it. They let me just finish 4.
That's excellent.
We've really gotten off the technology path.
But we're trying to showcase and see what we can do around Google Plus Hangouts on air. So,
yeah.
Combination.
So the summer, for the 2 or 3 people that are listening, is there any way to see? Oh, there's 4 viewers. Thank you, 4 people. I know one of them is Jennifer Keegan, so thank you. I was just sort of seeing that was, or if they could join the chat, or anything like that.
No, we said that you can only show the video. I was also viewing one too.
So we should view it ourselves so we can get more analytics up, so we can watch ourselves at the same time. There's a delay when we were testing it, which is like a 3-second delay, enough to make your crazy. By the way, on Grad Hacker, they have the book called Information Diet,
yep.
which I'm really interested in. I had listened to the guy who wrote the book. I'm really intrigued by this because that's one of the things. I kind of want to read Filter Bubble too, which almost seems like it's kind of similar. But, you know, when SH Chat started 2 years ago, I guess almost 3 years ago, there were like 50 of us maybe. And there's got to be thousands of people right now in higher education on Twitter, or 1,000. And it's just there's just so much information, and there's so many like tweets and blog posts, and it went from, I think one thing the SA blog has done a really good job about is encouraging people to create and start their own blogs, right? And so it went from 10 people to hundreds of people blogging. And it's just so much to consume. And I find myself, I have to go in and clean up my RSS feed. I have to edit people out of it, but then I end up adding more people to it. And then there's times that my RSS feed just becomes useless because it gets up to 1,000 and Google starts counting for you. And I have to kind of declare bankruptcy. So, like, finding ways to filter the information where you can still be interactive online. You can get the information you need to get. You can share information. You can be a participatory part of the community without just feeling overwhelmed. Like I feel like that's the thing we're trying to figure out now. Like, how do we participate without having that overwhelming feeling?
Yeah, and that's the conversation I had. So last week I traveled to my first Moodle Moot conference, and it's not a MOOC, Jeff Lale. It is Moodle is an open source learning management system. So it could be the rival to Blackboard, could also be the neighbor for the new friend infrastructure. But Moodle's been around for a little while, and the conversation that I shared with them was talking about, sure, there's all these tech tools and whatnot, but at the end of the day, we have certain skills that we need to teach both our educators and our learners, and some of it was around how do you curate, how do you filter, and my example was my slide of my hometown, Niagara Falls, of when all that water and all that information is coming at you, how do you, like, bear it, and how do you deal with it, and where do you choose to be in those spaces? Because it's inevitable that you'll be on there, but we talked about how we can be better filters than having a Google algorithm for us, or where do you get your information from instead, or other people or places. Because there are smarter things that are out there, and I think I shared you from, like, why use Google Scholar when you should be using some other search abilities in your own library, to there's a new scholarly search engine that's coming out. But yeah. It was a good conversation.
Have I shared on here how I cut down, like, a lot of people on my Twitter feed?
Mm-mm.
I went through my entire Twitter list of I don't know how many people I was following, like close to 1,000, and cut most of the people out. So if you're listening and you're cut out, it's not because I don't like you. I was determining who are the people that I really want to know. Like, I want to really hear from. I want to hear Jennifer Keegan's updates and Jeff Bell's updates and yours, and I want these updates. I don't want them to get lost, right? And who are the people who I'm probably following, and I don't recognize their name. Like, when I see them, like, I don't remember having a conversation with them, right? So I kind of filtered. I was trying to actually have a real filter, and so I got down to less than like 400 people on Twitter, which is something I haven't had since I started it over 3 years ago. And so it's so much more, for me, it's not overwhelming. Because I could, if I wanted to, it doesn't take that long to see all the Twitter messages in a day or within the past hour. It's easy to scroll back. And so, but I can still have other conversations with people I'm not following on the hashtag. So it's, for me personally right now, at this time of life, the days of following lots of people, I can't do that right now.
Yeah, and I think it also, you said it exactly, you decide to put them in different spaces. So you're either having a list of things, or you're looking at hashtags, the communities related to those hashtags. And I agree with you, and I need to do some more. This has kind of been my goal this summer besides research. It's my digital cleanup and space cleanup of what's out there and what do I need to prune or bring down. I agree, to make it more manageable and useful. Well, Jeff, I think we're approaching the hour. We talked more than we said we would. But
yeah, this has been a long 30 minutes, huh?
Yeah. So good to try out the Hangouts. I know that we have another Campus Tech Connection show in 2 weeks on the 18th with, we're not sure who's coming next. But I think it would be good to try it again, and maybe we'll invite Bruce along this time.
Yes, and Bruce, if you get this letter, sorry. I did send Bruce an email, kind of like, hey, do you want to do this today? But it's, he's different time zone, and he's probably just not checking his email address. I didn't know we're podcasting without him, so
yeah,
we'll be on next time.
Cool. And then we'll post this. This will be posted on YouTube for anyone who wants to catch us, anyone who has suggestions or comments about us using On Air, if it's a little crappy.
I gotta say, it is pretty awesome to do a podcast and be able to have eye-to-eye conversations.
When I'm paying attention, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Excellent. Well, have a good week, everyone.
I don't know how to end this without music, so I'm just going to hit the end broadcast button. Bye, everyone.